Hey guys, how'd you like that for an intro? We planned opening the door, making it look all cool, like it wasn't planned, but it was. Anyways, guys, today is something that we've all been waiting for, and something that a lot of you have been asking us to do. Many of you are familiar with, what's it called? The Cerro Gordo ghost town in California. A guy named Brent Underwood bought this old mining town and he's been reclaiming it. I think it's called Ghosttown Living on YouTube. Anyways, he's having some issues out there with all sorts of stuff that he needs help with. And so you guys, other people, all sorts of chatter has been going back and forth saying that we could potentially help Mr. Underwood, help him get, I guess, concrete up to the town, help him move some heavy stuff, basically stuff that we're good at. From all of our big heavy equipment recoveries and moving heavy equipment and trucks around, we're gonna go see what we can do to help this old ghost town come back to life. We're taking the Epic. Once we land, Bud is there with my Polaris machines. We're gonna take those, ride them up to the town. So guys, today is gonna be an adventure. We're covering a lot of ground because we gotta be back here tonight. It's gonna be crazy. Let's go. Up top, there you go. And then, let's see, is it closed? Hard. Pull the lever. Just.
I thought you were good.
I didn't feel it pop like last time.
Some real cabin pressure.
That feels better.
Yeah. So I think you guys should recognize everybody. You've met Jason, maybe.
I was the guy that dropped the pot in the introduction. I hope you still have that, because I want that to play right.
You know what? We're gonna have to get that intro footage. He's the pot dropper. And now we've got the big friendly giant over here who...
Hey guys!
My childhood best friends, Mr. Caleb Perkins, also works for us. Today we thought, you know what? He's been working hard. Let's get him out of the office. Stretch his legs a little bit. He's a big guy. And this man happens to be obsessed with weird, mysterious things in the desert. The reason we're going to Cerro Gordo Ghost Town is obviously, A, we want to explore it, check it out. Been hearing tons of cool things about it. Ghost Town Living on YouTube is like a super fascinating channel that's run by my buddy Brent Underwood. And in fact, he hasn't been my friend for very long. The only reason I got to know him is because a bunch of different YouTubers and viewers and people said, hey, this guy needs help at his ghost town. He needs help pouring concrete and all this other stuff. You guys should hook up with him. So Brent and I got in touch through the DMs, slid into my DM, and I said, you know what? We'll cruise on out, we'll check it out, we'll see what we can do to help you, because obviously we want to see this place be restored and this history preserved. So as we get here, we're flying in, we're seeing bone dry, like completely dead wasteland, and then we fly over the mine, which was super cool, seeing the mine from the air. But we touch down, we see Bud at the airport. So we're here. This is Lone Pine Airport in, I'm pretty sure the city is Lone Pine. This place is rad. As you can see over here, old Buttercup having a smoke and just waiting for us. Drove through the night with our vehicles here, so we have the ability to get to the ghost town. We just flew over it on the way in and we buzzed it pretty good, got real close. Like, beautiful conditions, guys. I'm telling you right now, if you're a pilot and you fly, you should come check this little airport out, because it's pretty neat.
That was an amazing flight. This valley is crazy. Like, you wouldn't expect to be in the middle of the desert and having these mountains so tall all around us. It's crazy. It's gonna be cool to drive to the top of them.
We just got to Lone Pine, California, and start doing some math, and I realized that we're a couple seats short of however many seats we need to be able to get all the guys up to the mine. Now, 2 guys are riding in the general on the trailer to the base of the mine. All right, so we are at the base of the Cerro Gordo Ghost Town. Right at the top of that hill up there at about 9,000 feet. And one of the reasons, like I said, we came out here today was do some recon to figure out what we can do to help Brent up here build his ghost town, because he's obviously got some unique needs, and now I'm understanding why, because the town is way up there. So this is also a great opportunity to try out some of my new Polaris machines. All 3 of these are all new machines that I really haven't ridden at all. I got the new Scrambler 1000, this S model four-wheeler, which is like super sporty. We got the new General limited edition. It's the Crew. That thing's awesome. It's like comes from the factory fully built. And then we got the machine that Jim and I are probably the most excited about, which is the Sportsman XP 1000S. They basically took a utility quad and they made it sporty as shit. I mean, look how wide that thing is. So I think Jim and I are probably gonna be fighting over that thing most of the day.
Driver.
Yeah, you got driver first, that's fine. We're actually gonna have to find, I think we have 7 bodies and 6 seats, so we're gonna get creative here. So guess who's doubling up?
This guy. The best driver.
The road that leads up to the Cerro Gordo mine is like 8 miles off of the main road. So it's a dirt road, starts off pretty mellow, but then it starts to get pretty wild. Jimbo, what are your first thoughts on the old Sportsman S?
So smooth. So smooth.
It looks super smooth.
Too smooth.
You guys look like you're on a date. A couple of smooth operators over there.
Oh, yeah.
So we're about probably a third of the way up the canyon, and it's getting really steep and really awesome. And this poor guy right here is grading this gnarly canyon road with an old John Deere grader. And the bottom of the road, awesome. This part, I would hate to be in a grader right here. Like, legit, this is rough. But it's nice that they're grading it because it's going to be nice and smooth. General is a ways back there because they stopped the drone away, but this is actually cooler terrain than I was expecting. Like, kind of feels like we're on Mars. Ladies and gentlemen, the only man in the world crazy enough to buy a Ghosttown, Brent Underwood, right?
That's me.
So this is my first time meeting Brent. A lot of people have been trying to get us together.
It seems that way, yeah.
Yeah.
A whole bunch.
So what do you got here, dude?
This is Cerro Gordo.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, this was the largest mine in California history.
What kind of gold?
Silver and lead.
Silver and lead.
Silver and lead. And back in the day, it started in 1865.
Yeah.
And over the course of its life, they pulled something like $500 million worth of silver out of this town.
Wow.
And back in the day, it used to be about 500 buildings here.
Really?
Most of them were lost to fire and other stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, right out of the gate, we met Brent, and we just hit him with a stack of questions.
Show us the brothel.
Just, hey, yeah, like,
Where's Lola's Pleasure Palace?
how much did you pay for it? We're like, how much money do you have? Like, just piling it on him, and he was just spitting them out.
That's
he had
true.
an answer for every question. We could tell he's done the dime store tour a few times.
Every day for the last
Yeah.
14 months.
But I mean, it was awesome. Took us into like his little museum he's got set up there. Showed us all the old tools.
So we started at the general store, which he's turned into a museum.
Yeah.
from there, I think we went up to like the, I can't remember the assayer's office, which is basically where they check the pay dirt and the quality of the minerals. See that, dude? Wow. That is insane how dense that is. Grab that.
Does that hold your boat down?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, they had this.
Caleb actually gets a loaf of bread.
They couldn't.
Right next to that, literally right next to that, was the old whorehouse, the old brothel, Lola's Pleasure Palace, the 6-stall.
One of 6.
One of 6 brothels that existed back in the day. And this place is no joke. It's like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, here's my silver.
Just a curtain, door, bed.
Yeah, and that's like one of the original structures that's still there. He also showed us some of the bunkhouses. He showed us the house that he lives in. Tons of old cabins and buildings still standing. But what's crazier, and as we're finding out as we're talking to him, all the stuff that's not standing anymore. Get this. Back in the heyday of this mining town, like 1860s, somewhere around there, there was 4,500 people living on this mountain in different shacks and cabins. At that same time in Los Angeles, the population was like 6,000 or 6,500.
That's crazy.
There's like 2/3 as many people in this mining town on this hill as there was in all of Los Angeles. This place was like popping. So now I'm starting to understand why Brent is so concerned about preserving it. Like, he wants to preserve this history and make sure this place stays in the 1800s forever. But there's no way to do that without jumping in, starting to rebuild and restore and try to save as much of the history as possible, which is something that he's starting to do really well and something that I don't really have the patience for. I love it, but man, to dig around, scratch around one old glass bottle at a time.
Just old coffee cans and nails.
If Jim and I were running that town, it would look like a gravel pit.
Oh yeah.
But one thing that I'm just dying to see is I want to get in the ground, but we can't because Brent wants to take us up to the very top first, up to the main elevator, the main shaft that he says made this, like, it's what made Cerro Gordo famous. Hi guys, I'd like you to meet 2 of the most uninsurable people in America. So guys, here's the deal. I'm a guy that needs a lot of insurance, but I'm also a guy that doesn't have time to shop for a lot of different insurance. You see, I have a lot of different stuff, including home, trucks, cars, life, ATVs, all sorts of different things that I need good coverage on because, well, let's be honest, we're kind of hard on vehicles and equipment. Which is why I want to talk to you about something that, well, it's kind of the elephant in the room. Insurance. You see, insurance has kind of become my best friend over the years. It's really helped us out of some really weird, precarious situations. But one thing that I found is that finding the right insurance can be kind of a nightmare. So I started shopping on this site called Policy Genius. Now, Policy Genius also happens to be the sponsor of today's video because, like I said, today's video is not cheap to make, traveling out to California, flying the plane, getting everything unloaded. So we're grateful to have a sponsor for the video. And we're also grateful to have a sponsor of a product that I actually believe in. So the way Policy Genius works is pretty simple. Basically, you go to their website, you start by answering a few quick questions about yourself, and then their experts go to work insurance shopping for you. So rather than you having to go to all these different sites and give them your information, they just handle it for you. And if they find you a cheaper policy, they switch you for free. So it's like they're not an insurance company. They're not somebody who's out there trying to sell you something. They're like a broker or a middleman. They're out there shopping to find you the very best deal. So some important things about Policy Genius. They never sell your information. They don't add extra fees to anything. And most importantly, their licensed experts work for you, not the insurance companies. So they're working to find you the best deal. They're not trying to find a way to make the insurance company the most money possible, which is pretty much what every insurance company is going to do when you go shop them individually. Policy Genius has actually saved their customers an average of $1,000 per year on their home and auto insurance just by reshopping. So guys, it's very simple. If you want to save money, simplify the insurance process, and not have to deal with a million different companies, click the link in my description below and let Policy Genius handle it for you. They handle it for me. And if I can get coverage, if Jackknife Jim can get coverage, anybody, and I mean it when I say anybody can get covered. If you wanted to continue to see badass videos like this that cost a lot of money for us to make, well, it'd be great to continue to have badass sponsors like Policy Genius who who help cover some of the cost. But at the end of the day, it's just adding value to your life because they're saving you money. It's a win-win, guys. Check them out. All right, so right now we're at what's called the Union Mine. This is the main mine shaft. Like, this is the hole that made this town popular.
That's what she said.
And I want to make a brothel joke, but I'm gonna refrain. This old elevator goes 900 feet into the ground. He says there's roughly like 7 levels, so about every 100 feet or so, it branches off and just goes miles underground each way. I guess on the second level, around the 200-foot level, about a quarter mile that way, there was a collapse. Can't remember what he said the name of it was, but 30 miners from like 100 years ago are still stuck underground there. That's insane. Like, talk about spooky. And the crazy thing about this place is normally when you come to a historic site like this, it's been preserved and there's like red tape and ropes and you can't go here, you can't go there. There's none of that here. This is all private. Craziest thing that you won't be able to experience right now as you're watching this is the fact that as I stand over this giant hole, the air coming up from there is so bone chilling, like damp and cold because it's coming from underground. So the air flowing through there. Right now, in order to operate this, he has to have him on the elevator, somebody with a flashlight because they lose communication, somebody yelling to the operator over there of the winch. Like, it's a very primitive system. And I can't imagine coming to a place like this and getting in an elevator on a mine that I just bought and being like, yeah, I'll go for a ride. And it's basically go to the very top of a mountain, find a spot right below you, and start digging. And they went like 900 feet into the ground with this elevator system and all these tunnels. And then every couple 100 feet or every 100 feet or so, they would branch off and go mining. Like, look at that.
But 30 miles.
There's so many ghosts that are coming out of that right now.
The Union Mine is this big building. It's probably the most well-preserved building on the property, and it's full of all the old mining equipment, including the elevator, the giant pulley system that uses to get the elevator up and down, the big air compressor, the old steam generator, all the old mining equipment that they used from like mid-1800s all the way through the early 1900s is sitting there. And you can see when they transitioned from steam and basically firepower to electrical. Like, a lot of the equipment's been retrofitted, but man, just looking at all this gives me like crazy anxiety to think about, because he's still upkeeping this stuff. He's still using the original elevator.
Yeah.
The very bottom of the mine is 900 feet deep around there, and it takes him a solid 45 minutes to get from the top down to the very bottom level.
One way, just going down.
Yeah. So checking out the Union Mine, checking out this old building, all this old equipment, is pretty damn impressive. But like I said, I'm really anxious to get underground. A, because it's a lot cooler down there. Well, it's cooler and cooler, both temperature-wise, and it's just the scenery down there is amazing. So Brent takes us in the side entrance of the Union Mine, one of the lower shafts that's like 100, 200 feet down, which just so happens to be right near the level where apparently 30 Chinese miners died in a collapse.
So we're all going down there, huh?
That's the game plan. I mean, you don't feel like you need to, but it's there.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how safe is this mine?
Oof, not on the scale. No, I don't. You figure, this is the way I think about it. So this mine was made 150 years ago, hasn't fallen down in 150 years. Is today going to be the day? Hopefully not.
Come on. Here we go.
Anybody claustrophobic?
We're going to find out.
I'm not afraid of Santa Claus.
That was the stupidest thing you've ever said.
It made you laugh, didn't it?
I did not get how that was. Just gonna make sure it collapses on us first.
Yeah.
As it collapses in 150 years, today's not the day.
Every 150 years it collapses.
It's been.
I thought about that.
The second I got it.
So this beat me inside of the office, Caleb?
Oh yeah, it is great. I mean, not this part, like seeing the town and everything. I don't like this.
Are you claustrophobic at all?
Yes.
You are? Man, you're a brave man.
You don't have to come in. There's a nice side-by-side you can.
There's peer pressure right now. Okay.
How you feeling, bud?
Down's a great way to
Are
do
you
it.
claustrophobic at all?
A little bit.
A little bit? How about you, Jim? You claustrophobic?
I'll be all right.
Not at all.
Well, once you got your gun with you, you're good, right?
Yeah, once I get through the hole, I'm okay.
Shave.
But
Got
just
my gun in the in the four-wheeler.
Almost there. There you go. Got it.
Made her in.
I almost brought
Some viewers are not going to like this part.
I'm crossing over into California.
What do you mean?
And so he takes us in. We explored through the mine a solid, I don't know, about an hour.
Yeah.
Didn't go too far in just because we weren't prepared to be in the mine all day, but we definitely got a taste for what he's done.
Can you get the Ford Ranger down here?
Oh yeah. Ford Ranger will come right down through here. Just fine. Might have to take mud tires off.
Or like gray looking, and then wait. It's like if you pick one up and it feels like way heavier than anything else. There'll be some in the scope that I'll find you guys, and I'll show you like what feels like the actual galena out here.
Just make sure it works for you.
Well, I mean,
Oh man. Yeah, broken bones.
For sure.
The floor just collapsed.
yeah, like even right here, it's kind of like the crystal type stuff.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
there's a hole that goes down real deep, so don't fall off that board.
Don't slip to the left. How sticky is it? There. I don't like it.
I was halfway down, then I realized I didn't like it.
You said that. It's always just a good rule of thumb in a mine not to fall down any holes, regardless of how deep you think it is.
Oh, holy moly. It's crazy.
They were probably working on this section for so long.
What in the world? Holy crap. Are there dragons in here?
Would people die in this area trying to blast all this up? It just seems like stuff would be coming down on their heads.
Yeah, so if they did that, they would call it. Sometimes what would happen
That's the weird thing about mining is the whole theme behind it is we'll do that later, and then all of a sudden this just later never happened. Back up or down?
Yeah, let's go back up, and then I'll show you the other stretch. It's kind of interesting.
Work out today, ain't you?
What didn't work out?
Huh?
What didn't work out today?
No, I said you're getting a workout.
Oh.
Now this.
You got this, bud.
Oh yeah.
Don't slide down into the
Four-wheel driving.
deep into the abyss.
Yeah.
What's down there?
Back in there.
Which way did we come from?
I have no idea. I'm just following these guys.
Time I come in like a mine, I start like thinking everything is minerals because of sparkles. See how that sparkles? That's probably some sort of lead silver combo, maybe. But probably such a poor density that it's not even worth pulling out. Definitely feels heavier.
See you guys later.
See you, buddy.
If I was down here alone, I would be
Like, you
afraid
feel
I'd
that one
be
little pebble.
not turning around.
Feel the girth.
Oh yeah.
It just came off of this right here.
I would be
That is
dragging
crazy.
the string, 100%.
Oh yeah.
No way I could come in here without a string line.
Oh yeah, right. If you had a mining operation in here and you could actually see what they did back in the day and could actually do it properly, that would be really neat.
Yeah, your liability with that would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Probably.
This is a part of it.
Perseverance, pass it on.
Shouldn't be too bad.
I've been caving and exploring through a lot of mines, and a lot of them are like just kind of like caves. This one's like legit, very well built tunnels.
Just a perfectly manicured tunnel all
Yep.
the way back.
You can see where the ore cart used to come in and out. And so he takes us in. We explored through the mine a solid, I don't know, about an hour.
Yeah.
Didn't go too far in just because we weren't prepared to be in the mine all day, but we definitely got a taste for what he's done. I mean, this guy has spent, I think he slept in here one night.
Said he goes every day. He goes underground. Every day. For
Probably would
14
too with
months.
that heat.
Yeah.
So, and he's not
that's
even come
crazy.
kind of anywhere close to exploring, and like he's only explored like 3 or 4 of the levels.
Yeah.
Like there's still so much mine that he hasn't seen, which is another reason why I wanted to come out and talk with him, because I wanted to help him find a better way to access some of these mines, because we found a shaft that he's been digging into, and he's been using dynamite and a backhoe, and it is the worst possible scenario, like as far as trying to get access to like a mine shaft. He's blowing up areas that are not the areas he's supposed to be blowing up, and he's digging it out one little rock at a time with the backhoe. So as I'm sitting here seeing all this, I'm thinking, man, he's got needs for some real equipment, some big track hoes and excavators and stuff like that. But that might be later on in our journey with Brent, because right now we gotta go look at this freaking hotel and figure out what it's gonna take, how much concrete he needs, where it needs to go, and what it's gonna take to get it from the freaking bottom 8 miles up the road. We were loading up this morning, getting ready to take off. Jim looks at me and he's like, it's gonna be a long day.
What's for lunch?
We should grab some steak. I'm like, what do you mean grab some steak? And so as he's grabbing steak and hamburger out of the freezer, I'm like, packed it all the way up the mountain with us. And when we got there, he even set it out to defrost out in the sun. And I gotta thank you, man.
Yeah.
Because that's,
You're welcome.
Jeez.
You came up with the rub
The
off
marinade,
on
yeah.
the fly.
That's what
That was bomb.
That was so good.
Some real spicy mustard.
Alec, don't lie, that was the best steak you've had. Well, not the best steak you've
This
had,
month.
but it was a good steak.
So can you cook?
Can I cook? I can coat things in seasoning and throw it on the grill.
You get some onion powder on there?
You just put some on, yeah. Use a little
You
bit
did?
more. Yeah. This is I've already mentioned this, I think, but just in case it doesn't make the edit, these are our cows. And we slaughtered a couple, and I'm pretty proud of this meat right here. Got a lighter out here?
So it would have been hard.
Bud, lighter.
Bud lighter.
Bud, lighter.
Where's our DPG torch?
Where's our designated smoker?
So it was livable originally, though?
Yes.
Like, could you have even made it? I just can't imagine this being this bustling city that was once larger than LA at the time. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. Found a coffee can full of gold coins up here. That's like a fact. There's like pictures of it and shit. You found it in the mountainside.
It lays.
Freaking coolest name ever.
It lays eggs inside of tarantulas.
Doesn't it have like one
Does
of the
it
worst
lay
things
eggs
ever?
inside my neck?
Maybe.
Holy crap.
After lunch, we went around and toured a couple of more buildings, saw a bunkhouse, actually checked out some of the spots that we actually might sleep at when we come back to help him. This is the reason why we're here. Like I said, a lot of you guys reached out, said Brent needs help, followed his YouTube series. I followed him a little bit here and there, but I didn't really see fully what he was up to until you guys mentioned it. So obviously thank you for making the connection. And now this is his goal, is to rebuild the American Hotel here. Building a hotel here at 8,500 feet is quite the challenge, especially since you guys saw the road that we came up on. So this is the pad, and he needs roughly 90 yards of concrete to be able to pour the floor and the walls and all that kind of stuff. To start building the hotel, and none of the concrete companies in town are willing to bring concrete up here. Nobody within anywhere is really willing to bring him concrete, because I don't blame them. It's a gnarly road, it's risky. Construction business is booming right now. Nobody needs this kind of job.
There's easier jobs, and there's so much construction going on right now.
Right, yeah.
Nobody will do it. He needs to come out. The rebar's going in next week. He comes out, gives a thumbs up on the rebar, and then we're good to go. But we already have the building permit and the operating permit for the hotel, which is big steps, you know. So as soon as we can build it, we can operate
The
it.
bar license and everything.
Just beer and wine, but I'll work on it.
Yeah. So that's why we're here, and we're gonna figure out a combination of trucks and equipment and trailers and all that kind of stuff to get in here. It's our goal to help preserve history here with him, and so this is going to be all donated resources from us. Because I guess the original hotel did not have a basement. It was just built on a rock foundation. One thing that he wants to do, which he's smart, is he wants to build a basement for more storage and more capacity. But as he's been digging into it, he's realizing why they never had concrete up here before. It's because nobody wants to bring it up. So 90 yards of concrete, just to help you understand, is roughly, call it an average size cement truck. It's roughly 10 of those. Big cement truck, like the one that we're looking at using for this job, it's going to be 8 of those.
9. Clear full.
Clear full. So,
Do you ever look into what it weighs, loaded?
concrete,
The mixer truck.
it's 90,000 max weight.
90,000.
Yeah. when you're pushing a 90 to 100,000 pound truck up a 8 to 14% grade, you're asking for all sorts of mechanical trouble.
Yeah.
Overheating,
transmission
issues, but more importantly, and more scary than anything else, it brakes on the way back down. So whatever we bring up here has to have a ton of power, a great cooling system, a ton of capacity, great suspension, and the best brakes in the world, including the best Jake brakes. Otherwise, I'm not going to attempt it.
Where are we going to find a water truck that's going to push
Right.
a full load up that hill?
You're not. You're going to find a water truck that's maybe going to move a couple thousand gallons at a time.
Maybe. Slowly.
And I'm not even sure where we're getting the water.
Yeah.
Somewhere down in town.
Where are we going to find all the drivers? Like, we're going to need some serious manpower. Better call the big guns.
Who are they?
I don't know. I thought it was a local company down there.
What stresses me out more than anything is when I think back 100 years ago and picture the mules and the men just hauling up this mountain. He used a 90 mule team.
Oh, to drag the cable up.
Yes, yep, exactly. To drag the cable for the aerial tram up, 90 mules connected together.
90 mule power.
Yeah.
A port city because that was a lake.
Right.
So there's a bunch of bars down there. Miners would go down there, get drunk, take the buckets back up.
That's awesome.
Because they don't want to take the mules. The mules are going to take them an hour and a half. The buckets will take them 20 minutes.
Just riding a bucket up to.
What trips me out about that is like, so that was before like airplanes were invented, right?
Right.
So you're sitting in the bucket. Nobody else in the world has had that view of
No,
just,
that's
you
true.
know, like,
That's true.
you know, so I put myself in that headspace of, he's explaining to his buddy, like, you're not going to believe what it's like.
Yeah, well, like we can fly.
Yeah, we can fly. We're like birds now.
Trips back in the day. But one of my favorite stories he told me was they would ride the tram bucket down to town, down to the bars, down in Keeler. But they would go down, get drunk, spend all their loot, and then to come back up to the mine, they would get in the ore buckets and ride the ore bucket back up to town. And I can't picture a more peaceful time.
Oh, no.
You're just buzzed,
Watching the stars go by.
watching the stars in the ore bucket.
Just clanking up there.
Yep. Just knowing that Lola's up there waiting for you to
Yep.
spend your last silver doubloon.
Yep. What was that scenario like? Is there like a lift guy, like at the ski resort, at the bottom? Like, all right, in the bucket.
No, he said one.
Is it just running 24/7?
He said it's running because it's gravity fed. So most of the buckets that were going down were full.
Yeah, and they were pulling the weight down, which would push the other buckets up.
So I guess the last load of the day just stops the track, and then the guy on the way up is like, "Shit, I guess I'm sleeping here."
I'm drunk.
These buckets are not big.
You would be hard pressed to fit 2 people in there.
Oh man, that's. But now we got to get home because we got to figure out what it's going to take to get vehicles, equipment, and materials, and men, and water to the top of this mountain. We got our work cut out for us, and I told him we would do it. I said your concrete will be poured and we'll be done before June 15th.
June 15th?
That's the promise I made.
Oh man.
And then he actually pulled out his GoPro and made me say it again. So
He verified it?
yeah.
Oh man.
He's been waiting a long time for this, and I'm here to help. The thing about this is, I'm not charging Brent anything to do this. This is just out of the kindness of our hearts. We just kind of want to donate our time and materials because we want to help him preserve this ghost town, because the guy's not making a ton of money up there right now. In fact, talking to him about the way he advertises on YouTube made me sick. In fact, you guys are probably going to see a few more ads on his channel because he needs to do it so that he can continue to grow this ghost town. So if you like watching ghost town living, then just sit through another commercial or 2 on his channel, because that'll really help him grow this place and get it fixed up. We got a lot to do before we're back out here at Cerro Gordo. A lot of prep, a lot of planning, a lot of transporting heavy equipment and trucks and supplies, and a lot of steak to defrost. We're gonna need a truck for the steak alone.
Yeah, 2 of
Hey,
them.
you know who we're gonna have to call? You know who you guys are gonna see again? Mr. Shamanush himself.
Yeah,
It's called
buddy.
Jax.
Yeah, the beef man himself.
Yeah, the beef man himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Cab Over Beef Man is going to be probably making a return debut to the channel here. A, because you guys loved him, and B, because he's a hell of a trucker and he's going to help us transport stuff. And I'd like to see how he cooks a steak.
I'll bet he cooks a good steak.
So as I started the video, I was mentioning that we have these 2 new Polaris ATVs and the Polaris General. This is the first time I've really had these machines out, and I want to test them out. Let me tell you right now, after riding these monsters up this hill, literally, chef's kiss. Like the new Sportsman 1000 XP S and the Scrambler S are 2 of the most capable, like they literally feel like I'm driving on top of a trophy truck. These 2 4-wheelers, if you're looking at a new 4-wheeler, look into a Polaris, because They've got these things so dialed. And then the General, the factory edition, factory limited edition, 4-seat, that thing loaded all of our guys, all of our camera gear, all of our stuff up the super steep road with no issues. I got to throw a plug to Polaris because obviously you guys know I've partnered with them for a long time, but I use the crap out of their equipment and it works, like works really well. So guys, definitely look into Polaris, okay? Just do me that favor. Hope you guys enjoyed the tour of Cerro Gordo, and I also hope that you're prepared for another 2 or 3 solid videos of this place, because in order to justify us coming up here and spending so much money and helping him, we're gonna need a little bit of YouTube ad revenue, plus probably a video sponsor or 2, so bear with us.
Hang in there.
Speaking of that, Policy Genius.